Charles Brewer Carrias dutifully followed in the footsteps of his father. Born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela, he successfully completed dentistry school in 1960 at 20 years of age. Soon after his completion, he started to practice his trade. However, this conventional path soon took a new turn. Approached by an anthropologist looking for dentists willing to work with the indigenous people deep into the Venezuelan jungle, Charles eagerly put his name forward.
John.
He started to travel to the Orinoco Basin and became increasingly well-versed in the field of dental anthropology. His curiosity, not surprisingly, prompted him to extend these visits, and he soon found himself completely immersed in the indigenous culture.
We are here now at the Yequana village, Yequana. This means the people of the floating log, the sailors. We are in the Orinoco Basin, north of South America, and in a savanna called Wameriwachi. Actually, this village is known as Canarakuni. And in the Canarakuni, Canaracuninyancomo are the people that live here. I visited this place in 1964 when I was trying to reach, and I reached and I slept there in the night of from 1964 to New Year's Eve to 1965. Being there, I tried to reach the sinkhole, but I found that it was very far. So I had to wait for 10 years. So in 1974, I was able to discover and explore and discover the sinkholes, the biggest in the world, on top of this mountain of Sarisariñama. So now we will have an experience of life, of how these people are able to use the resources of an isolated place in the jungle, and how these resources have been built up and have been used for, maybe, has been calculated 8,000 years. It's absolutely normal and everyday. That's the bread of every day. But the information about the whole procedure, the time it takes, the temperature, the kind of root they are using, is something that could be lost, not actually in a generation, but yes, very soon. Look at the liquid coming out.
That's the poison?
So it's being squeezed from here. The manihot crated is in here, has been poured in and then stretched, and this will work like the Chinese finger trap. The moment you pull it, it gets smaller. It was very easy to carry it this way. You see, when you pull it here, it will stretch. See how it goes? You stretch and it will squeeze the juice of the poisonous juice out. After that has been squeezed, we have the big dried part of the already crated manihot. In this moment, they are cutting the squeezed the poison of the yucca after being crated has been squeezed through the baskets that are in the back there, and which we will be seeing. We have seen how it is squeezed out, and now that it's dried, they are going to put it through a sieve in order to obtain the flour. This is extremely poisonous. If you eat this flour like it is now, you'll die. So you have to go through all the stages, from an incredible root that only grows in the jungles, or you could cultivate in this kind of soil which is very poor, to yielding finally the u, or bread, as they name it. try to understand that they are depending on this kind of bread. And it is so important that it only has one vowel to express it, and that vowel is U. That means bread. We call it cassave, but that is not their word. Akawan sheda. Nama yawa. Nama yawa the one shebu. Ede. Medehe. Kone da one she.
Kone da medehe.
Nama.
Tuom ya tuom.
Huh?
Tuom.
Nama. They say it's poisonous. I will die if I eat that. So it is the second stage, because the first stage is to squeeze the juice, the most poisonous juice, but it has some remnant of juice, so it has to be heated out in order to render it edible. The process is distributed through all the Amazonia and Orinoco basin, so it must be 8,000 years old, which is more or less the time that these cultures have been able to spread. 8,000 years, and it is in many different speaking stock languages, not only the Carib, but also Arawak, Tupi Guarani. They all make the same process. So it must have been very, very old. So they have developed a technology which is being lost. It's being lost because our civilization, the Western consumerism civilization, is offering them so many goods to acquire that they are getting in that trend, and they are trying to leave behind their knowledge of how to use the jungle. I have the concern, I have the anguish that this incredible knowledge is going to be lost maybe in a couple of generations. For some people, they are doomed already. But in this case, being so far, in a couple of generations, all the lore, the information, the knowledge, how to use this and how to use this jungle and keep it sustainable for them is going to be lost. So part of our trip, it is to go into their culture and see in a glimpse what do they do.